So the book of Deuteronomy was written, well, not just the book of Deuteronomy, but the whole Bible was written to the Israelites, these people on this sign. All right, so if you identified yourself on this sign and you identify with this, that means, guess what? You're an Israelite. So the book of Deuteronomy was written to Israel, all right? Let's find out. Give me 28 and verse 1. 28 and verse 1. Now, if you look at our people, are we in a real high position right now? We're in a real low state, right? We don't live in the best houses. We got what? WIC, welfare. We got the so-called white man taking care of us, right? We don't own nothing. Read what you got.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So Moses is still speaking to the children of Israel. He said if we would listen to the Most High God, read.
To observe, to do all his commandments.
All his what?
All his commandments.
All his religions.
All his commandments.
Because it's a notion out there that this book is about religion, when it's not.
That's right.
All this book is about is God's laws.
That's right.
From front to cover, that's what you're going to read about, is God's laws. That's it. Read on.
Which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high.
He would do what?
Will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
So, that was a promise right there. That was a covenant. Moses told us that God said that if we would listen to his laws, statutes, and commandments, he would set us on high above all nations of the earth. All we had to do is keep the commandments, right? Now, I asked you, we're Israelites, right? Are we at the top or are we at the bottom? We're at the bottom. For us to get to the top, we got to keep God's commandments, right? So why are we at the bottom? Because what? Right, we didn't do the right thing. We wasn't doing the right thing. We wasn't keeping God's commandments. And we're going to read that too. Verse 15.
Verse 15. But it shall come to pass.
So it said, but. So this is the flip side. If we kept God's commandments, on high. If we didn't, let's see what happens.
If thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall,
all these what?
That all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Now, is a curse a good thing or a bad thing? Curses are bad things, all right? So, if we listen to God, we good. If we don't, he gonna put curses on us, all right? Let's go through some of these curses. Verse 16.
Verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
So the Bible said, cursed shall you be in the city. Are not our people cursed in the city? Did we not just talk about where we live at? We live in the hoods, the ghettos, the slums. Do you find good stuff going in those environments or bad stuff? Bad stuff. That's Bible prophecy. Let's read on.
And cursed shalt thou be in the field.
Cursed shalt thou be in the what?
In the field.
When will we curse in the field? Slavery.
That's right.
Slavery. Cotton fields, tobacco fields,
Right.
sugarcane fields.
Right.
We're not making this up. Like I said, this Bible was written thousands of years before we even got over here.
That's right.
This was prophesied about our destruction, our low estate. Read it again.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
So let's fast forward to 2019, right? The field. How are we cursed in the field today? What about the work field? Right, because the work field, guess what? Are we CEOs of these companies? No. What do? We cashiers, we janitors, we got fry duty, we flip burgers. That's what we do. We're not the ones out here hiring our own people, creating jobs for our people, health care for our people. We're not doing that, are we? So that's proving that we're cursed in the field. Give me verse 32. And you mentioned something, I asked about the kids. You said, what about the kids? They would sell our kids. Let's read this. Read.
Bring it out.
Verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
Read that again.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
Was that not a curse that happened to us in slavery? Our sons and our daughters were given to other people. Who were they given to? Right. Now, who are those masters? Who? Who?
White people.
White people. All right. We gonna find out who this so-called white man is. Read.
And thy eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long.
Our eyes would look and fail with longing for them all the day long. Why is that? Because we really loved our kids. We didn't want this white man coming in and breaking up our homes. That's evil. We wanted it, but guess what? We didn't have any might in our hand. Read.
And there shall be no might in thy hand.
There will be no might in our hands. No economic might, no military might. Why? Because we didn't want to keep God's commandments. So this was a curse. What's the precept for that? Verse 47? What's the one? 41. Give me that.
Verse 41. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters.
So it said you shall beget sons and daughters. You shall have children, but what's going to happen? Read.
But thou shalt not enjoy them.
We weren't going to be able to enjoy our kids. We weren't going to be able to take our kids this place, that place, teach our kids what they need to learn. Why is that?
For they shall go into captivity.
We shall what?
For they shall go into captivity.
Our kids had to go into slavery. We didn't have power over our kids. Right. We were made breeders. That was it. You was to sleep with this woman, have kids, so we can have more property. That was it. That's how the other nations looked at us, as cattle.
Right.
We still consider 3/5 of a man.
Right.
Still consider that today. And we say that we're free. Just because we can go to McDonald's and get a burger. Just because we can drive a car, we're supposed to be free. No, verse 37. Now let's touch on another thing. Y'all mentioned about the name calling, right? How we have all these different names. Watch this, read.
Verse 37. Thou shalt become an astonishment.
So an astonishment is an amazement. When these other people look at us, they're amazed. Why? Because we're the only people that sell drugs to each other. We're the only people that kill each other over small stuff, or kill each other at all. You ain't gonna see no Chinese Trayvon Martins. You ain't gonna see none of that. No Chinese Arab Tamir Rices. You ain't gonna see none of that stuff. So they look at us like, man, look at him. He's dogging this woman out, calling her a B, a hoe, all of that stuff. Not taking care of his kids. He got to go to court. He has to have another person tell him to take care of his kids. They look at us as astonishments. Read.
And thou shalt become an astonishment. A proverb.
What's a proverb? Think about the book of Proverbs. What's in the book of Proverbs? You read it? Well, in the book of Proverbs, it's a lot of wise sayings. But their wise sayings are jokes on us. They joke on us. They say, you ever heard this expression? If you want to hide something from a black man, do what? You ever heard that term? What about you, sis? They say if you want to hide something from a black man, do what? Put it in a book. Why? Because we don't like to read. We don't like to read. They say black people love to steal. They say we're never on time. We don't know how to raise our kids. So these are all proverbs that these other nations put on us. Read on.
A proverb and a byword.
Now a byword. You know what a byword is? What's your nationality? What would you say? Black? What would you say? You miss with everything? We'll touch that in a second. But what? Okay, if you had to put on a job application, what's your race? What would you put? Black American, African American. So you said black, she said African American. But y'all the same people, right? Why do y'all have two different nationalities?
Bring it out.
If y'all the same people, why do you go by black and why do you go by African American? Yeah. Let's touch on black. Okay, you black. What country can I go to that they speak black? There is no country. You can go to Africa, but he identified himself as black. Can I call up a travel agency and say, hey, can I get a plane ticket to black? They're gonna look at you like, what are you talking about? So black is not a nationality, it's more of a color. Right. And we put these terms on us so we can find some identity in ourselves. But our identity is the children of Israel. That's the greatest nation that ever walked this planet.
That's right.
So black is not a nationality, it's a color. Now, African American. You said Africa, all right? Africa is a continent. What country in Africa do you come from? It's a big old continent. So it's like 54 countries in there. What country do you come from? What language do you speak? What was your culture? What was your dietary law? What did you do? And that's what we do. We settle for that stuff because they put it in front of us.
Right.
That's what it is. Now, the name Africa actually comes from a white man called Leo Scipios Africanus. He was an Italian general that actually conquered the land of Africa, and he named that after himself. That's what he did. Now, the name America, where does that come from?
The Pilgrims had brought us over.
Yeah, they came over here, but it was already called America before they came over here. All right, I'll help you out. So the name America actually comes from an Italian navigator named Amerigo Vespucci. Remember, I told you when these white people come and conquer lands, they name them after themselves. So you calling yourself an African American, you're calling yourself by two white men. Can two men, period, lay down and produce a child? Can two white people produce a black child? So why would you identify yourself as African American? Because like I said, they put it in front of you, only got so many options, I'm just gonna go with that one. So that's why, all right? So that is a byword, being called something out of your God-given name. These are the names that the Most High God calls us. Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Ephraim, Manasseh, Simeon, Zebulun, Naphtali, Issachar. Those are the names that the Most High God calls us. But we settle for these. That's what we settle for. And that's what the scriptures were saying. Read that again.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee.
Now when it says among all nations, no matter where you go, these curses will always follow you. They'll always follow you. Why? Because we didn't want to keep God's commandments.
That's right.
Verse 47.
Verse 47. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things.
So it said because. That's the cause. The cause is because we didn't want to serve the Most High God with joyfulness and gladness of heart for the abundance of all things, because we want it for nothing. When we kept God's commandments, he blessed us with everything. We want it for nothing. Read.
Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemy.
Therefore shall we serve who?
Thy enemies.
So, are we still serving our enemies today? You better believe it. Why? Because we pay taxes. We have to buy water. Water's given for free. So we still serve our enemies today. Read.
Which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger.
Do we not have to serve the so-called white man for food? Why? Because we don't own McDonald's. We don't own Circle K. We don't own the grocery stores. Everything that we get and consume, we had to get it from our enemies. Read.
That's right. And in thirst.
In thirst. What you got in your cup?
Water.
Some water. You had to pay for that water. You had to serve your enemies.
Yeah.
Read.
And in nakedness.
And in nakedness. That nakedness means clothing. The clothing that we have, we don't manufacture that.
What?
You may have some celebrities like Jay-Z, Puff Daddy and them. They got their names on it, but they don't have the raw textile companies that produce it. They don't own that stuff. They just got a name on it. And they still have to do what? Pay taxes. They got to pay taxes to the so-called white man, so they in slavery too. Read.
And in want of all things.
In want of all things. So in lack of all things. So what are some things besides food? What was it? Food, clothing, and water. What are some other things out there that we have to have? Shoes. Toilet paper. A roof over our heads. We have to go to the enemy for everything. You want a driver's license? Who you got to serve? White man. You want a birth certificate? White man. Social security card? White man. Education? White man. You got to serve the so-called white man in want of all things. Right. Let's read on.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he had destroyed thee.
Read that part again.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he had destroyed thee.
So it said the so-called white man will put a yoke of iron on our necks until we have been destroyed. Did that not happen to our people? Were yokes of iron not on our necks? And if you look at our people, are we not in a destroyed state? We're still physically here, but mentally we're destroyed. Because I asked y'all and this is no joke on y'all, but I asked y'all what y'all nationality was. You told me black, you told me African American. So that lets you know it's more people out there that think they're other nationalities. So we are destroyed people because we don't know our homeland, we don't know our culture, we don't know our laws, we don't know our language that we spoke, we don't even know our God. We still think that that white boy right there is Jesus.
Now they will see the true men of God. We are not black men, we are the Israelites. That's right. Take care of us. Take care of us. And our children too. And our children too. We have repented. We have repented. How are you? How are you? People want to know who's the king.
O nation of Israel, it's time to return to the Father. O nation of Israel, it's time to return to the Father.
Now why they trying to make it so hard to serve God? And why when I say that I'm a Jew it sound odd? For years I've been walking around saying that I'm a black man. I ain't saying that no more, it sounds wrong, man.
This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels. Stay up to date with our latest events, music, and classroom lessons. IUIC plans to continue visiting different countries where this gospel has not been preached before. IUIC needs your help in pushing this truth. So join us. Subscribe to our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and podcasts, and stay up to date with us. For more information, please visit www.israelunite.org.